The phone vibrated like it was afraid of me. I was barefoot, sand still warm from the sun, condensation sliding down the glass in my hand. The ocean breathed in long, lazy exhales. Everything was quiet. Too quiet until my screen lit up. "Dad, the police are here." Another buzz. "Dad, what did you do?" I didn't move. I didn't answer. I let the ice clink. I watched a pelican dive and vanish under the surface like a clean exit. A third message arrived, frantic, misspelled. "Dad, your brother just walked out." I smiled, small and precise, like a surgeon before the first incision. They thought they had buried me. They didn't realize I'd already dug my way out. I was the quiet one in our family, the fixer, the account balancer, the person who stayed late and paid early. When things broke, they handed them to me and walked away lighter. I funded my brother's fresh start when his first business imploded. I covered my parents' tax mess when Dad's pride got louder than his sense. I didn't do it for praise. I did it because blood is supposed to mean something. The wedding was supposed to be the last thing, a clean bow on a messy decade. I paid deposits without being asked. Venues, vendors, the photographer who charged extra for cinematic warmth. I signed checks like I was signing apologies. Then Dad called me into the kitchen like I was 12 again. Same table, same crack in the tile, same tone. "You're banned from the wedding," he said, eyes fixed on his coffee. "But you still owe us $570,000. I laughed at first, a reflex, a mistake. He slid a printed spreadsheet across the table, columns, dates, interest, as if love accrued penalties. "You'll wire it by Friday," he said. "Family obligation." That was the moment something inside me went very still. I replayed that conversation all night, not the words, the pauses, the way he didn't look at me, the way Mom stayed silent, hands folded like she was at a funeral that hadn't been announced yet. I checked the numbers again and again. The math was aggressive, inventive. It assumed guilt where there was generosity. I started noticing things I'd ignored before. Contracts copied instead of originals, receipts without letterheads. My brother's sudden comfort with debt. He didn't understand. I listened more. I spoke less. Silence became a room I could work in. The truth didn't arrive loudly. It never does. It came in an email attachment forwarded by mistake. A draft agreement. My name used as collateral. My signature scanned, resized, imperfect. They weren't asking me to help. They were selling me. I sat alone at my desk, lights off, screen glowing like an interrogation lamp. My pulse didn't race. My hands didn't shake. Anger is loud when it's young. Mine was fully grown. They had planned to blame me if it collapsed. They had already rehearsed the story. Ungrateful, unstable, refused to support the family. I closed the laptop. I exhaled once, and I began. I didn't confront them. I didn't warn them. I didn't cry. I gathered screenshots, timestamps, IP logs. I mapped the flow of money like a river that knew where it was going to flood. I sent exactly one payment, the $100. The note read, "For the memories." Then I booked the first-class ticket to the Bahamas, not because I needed the escape, but because I wanted distance, the kind that turns noise into clarity. From the beach, I watched the plan unfold in real time. The authorities weren't my weapon. Truth was. I simply made sure it arrived where lies had been living rent-free. Anonymous tips are easy when you know exactly where to point. I timed it for the rehearsal dinner. I wanted witnesses. The groom walked out first. That's what shattered them. Not the uniforms, not the questions, the absence. My brother's face drained of color when he realized the future he'd borrowed against wasn't showing up. My phone rang again and again. I let it ring. When I finally answered, Dad was shouting my name like it was a confession. "What did you do?" he demanded. I took a sip. Sweet, cold, earned. "I paid what I owed," I said calmly. "The rest was yours." There was silence, then something breaking. Not glass, illusions. "I have everything," I added, "and I'm done being quiet." He didn't yell after that. He didn't have the breath. I stayed on the beach until sunset, watched the sky bruise and heal. The world didn't end. It rarely does. I blocked their numbers one by one, not out of anger, out of completion. Justice doesn't always need a courtroom. Sometimes it just needs timing. I sent $100. I took everything else back, and for the first time in my life, the silence felt like mine.